Hey everyone, it's Dennis. Today I'm going to talk about, again, more early sobriety stuff. I'm going to repeat myself a little bit because these things should be repeated and you need to hear some of these things over again. Number one is give yourself a break. There's a lot in early sobriety that comes at you. And as I said before, your emotions are going all over the place because when we were drinking or using, if we had a good feeling, we drank. If we had a bad feeling, we drank. Good days, we drank. Bad days. Whenever we had felt anything, we would reach for something to the point where our feelings and our drinking or our using became very intertwined. One didn't work without the other. And so when you are left without the use, no more connection there. You're all on your own with your feelings, and it can feel a little bit raw. It can feel like a roller coaster. You feel like you're sometimes, you say things or do things, and it's a little out of control. And this stuff irons itself out. I talked about the pink cloud, how you start out and you feel fantastic every day. Wow, I can't believe I have the solution to all my life, and then all of a sudden, I'm not feeling it so much anymore, and it comes down really hard. And these things happen a lot. They're dangerous too. The deflation of a pink cloud. People start saying, "What's the point? Why am I bothering with all this? Why do I do it?" And you have to get through those days. You have to get through the dark times of sobriety. Who thought there would be dark? Sobriety is supposed to be all flowers and unicorns and candy and all that stuff, but it's not. There's some real struggle days that you go through, and you don't have anything to drink those bad feelings away. And sometimes people really get on your nerves, and there's nothing you can drink about that. You can't do anything about it. You just have to get used to it. And the other part isn't all the noise and stuff. It's actually the quiet that can drive you crazy. You're used to the chaos in your life and it's not there, and you have to start feeling in. I always say that boredom invites chaos for me. Whenever I'm bored, I get into trouble. The first thing I do when I'm bored is eat. I eat whether I'm hungry or not, and that's what I do when I'm bored. And then other things can get me into trouble too. I gained a ton of weight when I first got sober. I took it all off, but when I stopped drinking, I did start eating. And my sponsor was like, "It's okay, they have this whole thing in AA. Oh, nobody got pulled over for fat driving or something silly like that." It's not good. You shouldn't be overeating like I did. You need to really learn a little self-control, and you will, and I hope you do. I did. Like I said, it's real common to gain a little bit of weight, but I gained a lot of weight. A lot. And so I had to lose over 100 pounds. I did, like I said, and things iron out. The early days get more like normal. You get used to normal, right? That's kind of a weird thing for an alcoholic to say, that you're getting used to normal, that you have a normal life, but you do. And keep going to meetings, keep getting support, keep talking to people who have been there and have done it, because you'll realize you're not so unique, and other people get through it and you can get through it. And I used to get offended when I'd find out I'm not so unique. Are you kidding me? I'm a special kind of alcoholic. But I was just, somebody once said, "You're just a garden variety alcoholic." And I was offended. I thought, I am special kind of alcoholic. Anyway, what I'm saying is you got to get through it. And then a quick note on the steps. I talked about that too. They're really good to have as tools in dealing with sobriety and dealing with not drinking and dealing with your life, because your life is now coming into focus and you don't have any way to get around it. You used to just hide with the bottle, but not anymore. So the steps help you sort of rebuild and fix all the stuff that you might have destroyed like I did, but there are ways to fix it. There's always a fix. You might not always like the fix. Sometimes the fix is just dealing with it not being fixed. if that makes sense. You just have to make peace with stuff. But almost always there's a fix. It's just that each one has its own time frame in how long it takes to get fixed, and some take a while. My sister didn't speak to me for very good reason. I don't hold it against her, but she didn't speak to me for 15 years, and I love my sister very much. We were very, very close. But since that, when we reconciled, I'm back with her and just like before. But it took a long, long time. And I know you're saying 15 years. Are you crazy? I don't know. But just each thing takes its own time. Some things were pretty immediate. Some things were not. And you start thinking about your life and your future. I never had a 401k or retirement because I never thought I'd live. Isn't that terrible? And then as soon as I stopped drinking, I started building my 401k, and it's been a pretty successful thing that I did, despite the 16 years of not contributing. So you can start building a life. You can start thinking of a really nice future for yourself, and it will come. But you just have to get through the first day, the second day, the third day, and put them behind you. And early sobriety, for some it's wonderful. For me, it sucked. I hated it. It was hard. It was really, really hard, just because the obsession did not leave me for 6 months. It wasn't, all of a sudden gone. It was a slow dissipation. But the sobriety will come into your life, and I mean sobriety by the true sense of being at peace. And sober doesn't just mean not drinking. It does imply a certain amount of level-headed thinking and a certain amount of peace, and you will get that if you stay with it. Like I said, you need to, I really believe in the focus on God, and then the support system that you have, and then routine. I'm really big on daily routine. If I'm not in my routine, I don't feel right. And with that, I'm going to end. But I do wish you luck. I wish some people would, reach out in the comment section. I'd be happy to take some ideas for future podcasts and recordings, and I'd really love that. And if you need help, you can reach out to me too. But I really appreciate you listening. I thank you. Subscribe to me, and thanks. Have a good day.